Greetings. How's everyone? I want to show you comments that were left on the video entitled White Semites Black Awakening. It's one of the three videos that I recommend the most. The number one that I recommend is, of course, committing Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The second that I usually recommend is of Asiatic black men. And the third one, White Semites Black Awakening. If you have not seen this video, I show different artifacts in the areas of Mesopotamia, Sumer, the Middle East. And the artifacts are from 20,700 BCE, before until about 700 BC. And the title is White Semites Black Awakening because those artifacts show us clearly the inhabitants of those areas were Caucasians, that they were not black, because for years, for decades, many people have been claiming that the inhabitants of those places were black people. Many people have been claiming things such as, well, the original Jews or Hebrews or Israelites were black. And allegedly later on, they were invaded, and the people that we have nowadays are not the original people. And sometimes they're even there making the correlation with the history of ancient Egypt, when the history of ancient Egypt is documented. We have the records, the artifacts of the indigenous rulers. They are all over the world in museums, and still at the original location, which is Kemet, or ancient Egypt. In the temples around the country, in the museum, in Cairo, and all over the world. And we can clearly see their phenotype. For example, Amenhotep III that I showed you in the Louvre Museum, Paris, France, we can clearly see his phenotype. So, it's problematic when we see that 2,000 years ago, the inhabitants of those areas were white. Because if 2,000 years ago, in the Levant, Akkad, Sumer, Mesopotamia, Palestine, the people were white, do you mean to tell me that later on, some black people came in, and afterwards, they disappeared? Come on now. You would have to document that. You would have to explain that, because making a statement is not sufficient. So, Cinnamon Lee wrote, these are the people that came in after the real Israelites were taken away as prisoners. Okay, let's presume that the people we see came in after the real Israelites. When were the real Israelites there? If the real Israelites were not there 2000 BC, when were they here? Or when were they there, over there? When? Who are the real Israelites? Do you have records for them? Can you show them to me? One thing that's been shown, people have described some round shape, circular thing around the hair to say that this is nappy hair. So funny and humoristic. Because if you go to the museum, Louvre Museum, and I'm not sure if I've shown that, but I think I did. We had different artifacts, and some of those artifacts contain this circular shape, this roundish thing, and they don't look anything close to black people. I encourage you to go to museums where they have artifacts of those locations. And look at the different time periods and see for yourself. And even this depiction where people claim, well, look, those are the Hebrews, the Jews. If you look at the date, it is nowhere near 2000 BC. So show me those real Israelites. Explain to me what happened. Then Cinnamon Lee, that's the third comment there. Well, the second one, I will read them all. Cinnamon Lee wrote, they look like someone out of a horror book. Third comment, those early people you have shown us are not black people. These are all cave white Turkish people, nothing to do with the original. Once again, show me the originals. When did the original bounce? When did they bounce? Explain to me how in 2000 BC we don't have the originals, but then the originals came in later. When did they come then? When did the original Israelite came? I'm sorry. When did the original? When? Last comment. Maybe you should look at the ancient pharaoh tombs. They don't look like your pictures. Also, they had locks. The ancient Greeks wrote that the Hebrews were black. They should know they lived at the same time. Well, what is that quote that you're talking about of the ancient Greek saying that the Hebrews were black? I'm interested. Where do you get that from? Who said that? Where? What time period? Please let me know. Please let me know. I'm used to people coming and making statements. When we ask them to substantiate that statement, to back up their statement, to tell us the where their quotation comes from, a lot of time we don't have any reply. I might have a reply this time. When you say ancient Greeks, since you might give us a quote, then we will know the time period. We will know. We will know. I'm curious. That being said, that's probably 10 minutes now. Wow, 7 minutes, that's good. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for your contribution and your participation. We will get some clarity out of ancient history. We will. A lot of people have been working on those topics. But unfortunately, we have many people black who have been disingenuous, not only bold but false statements, sorry, and they've been rolling with it. But after a while, it doesn't. So we will get some clarity. We will, definitely. Okay? So stay safe, stay healthy, and I will definitely holler back at you later.